but well, it is what it is. But I try to, from down here to Houston, depending on which way I go, which I-35 to I-10 is longer, but you have more access to everything. 59, it ain't nothing down through that but cactus weeds and cows, and the phone service don't work too good. Ain't no lights down through there now, man. Shit. I know. But yeah, man, you know, hopefully this don't have to go to the appeal, you know what I mean?
Because I think once this, those judges, like they say, they had lots and lots of questions, and I think once it get to the point to where they able to review a lot of the information, they are going to, a lot of things is going to be revealed. Like they say, we have lots of questions that need answers. So I think when that time comes, oh, it's they gonna start reading because, like I say, we just look at the discrepancies that was pointed out by Jennifer with the ineffective counsel. When we talk about the jury selection, we talking about the bad act witnesses, you know,
Hmm.
and this is malicious conspiracy kind of put some things out yesterday as far as the hearing go. And we're gonna go over there. I'm gonna share the screen over there quick.
So, Big Vi, okay, we saying okay, this was the oral deal yesterday, right?
Right.
So, do well two questions. You may be able to answer tonight. Okay, so this was just an oral. So después,
Right.
I mean, after, are they gonna go have another court date when it's gonna be numerous of other judges, and then you're gonna have prosecutors and Bungie them there, and then they gonna go over this all over again?
Now what happened is because she already submitted the written argument, and then they agreed to do an oral argument. Now with the oral argument has been taken, now the judges they're gonna take the case up and they're gonna go over all of the evidence. And when they go over all the evidence, they're to my understanding, they'll be able to come to a decision to say, well, this court, they're gonna either uphold the sentence or they're gonna schedule a retrial. To my understanding, I don't. I'm not 100% sure, but they'll be able. They're gonna come down with the decision, and they say they could take up to 18 months, or
A year or so.
yeah. So that's gonna take time, for them to come back with. So with the amount of information and that was put out and a lot of things that went in, I just like I say, man, the most part we just gotta have patience, and
And
allow
faith.
this thing to work and allow this thing to work itself out because we can't move no faster than these people decide to move.
Yeah.
What we did get yesterday was, even though we felt like we had an asshole judge, the guy, you had two other judges that was kind of like they was kind of even. You know,
Mhm.
the lady she gave the prosecutor representative hell, and then the other third guy he was just like, he was just floating from both, you know. So I think that when they go back and review this case, and like they said, they asked the woman, "What proof did y'all have that this man, gave these women this STD? What proof do y'all have that he did not tell these women that he was infected with an STD?" Like, then she was just all over the place.
Right. It was all conjecture. It was all opinion. And everything. And what people have to realize, it's called an oral. argument. It's not called an oral. I'm gonna just tell you something and you don't shut up and listen. This is literally, it has to be a level of back and forth because people are trying to get a fair understanding of where the law made the mistake in an appeal situation. So when you look at it like that, you can't be upset because these people are asking questions. They have to, in order for, and this is where, even R. Kelly supporters, I really, stress this. I'm like, in order to get to the truth, you got to ask yourself the tough questions.
Mm-hmm.
In order for me to really stand in this thing, in order for Big Vi, you, Ray, to stand in this thing, we had to sit up and ask those tough questions to ourselves and, look at everything on its face value and then look beyond the surface in order to get to the truth. So by these people asking these questions, they didn't do anything but, I think that the prosecutor kind of messed herself over because he asked us some real questions. They did not have any proof. And when you're asking for proof, and they're like, well, a negative culture don't mean he don't have nothing, but it don't mean he got it either. It's up in the air.
And so it sometimes, like the saying, say tough love. Yeah, sometimes, man, them people got to ask some tough ass questions. And, they already had them transcripts. So that's why certain things they pick through. Say, well, okay, they got these stacks of this here. Well, hell, shit. Nah, this here wasn't cool. Yeah, that wasn't cool. That shit, this ain't right. Now, what did she?
We can already,
go through all that? So they gonna just okay. Well, we see all this here stuff. This shenanigans. This shouldn't have happened. So okay, well, we got these few stacks of papers right here. Okay, well, these few stacks of paper, we're gonna grab these and we're gonna take these to the oral meeting with us tomorrow. So those are the questions that those are the
So
questions that they
this is
asked
some
yesterday.
malicious
Yeah,
conspiracy. She pointed out. Well, I don't say she. I say she, but I'm not sure if it's a she or a he. But they pointed out some things yesterday from the hearing, and it said these are my thoughts on the appeal or argument. She said the government failed to prove the existence of forced labor, and the judge were unconvinced by their charge. Right, because they say even Jennifer was studying saying how could one isolated act be consist of forced labor, you know, and like the lady said, what y'all are trying to say, someone having sex is forced labor, then you know what you're doing. You know how many people in the world have sex? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I made the point to what, and I said, well, damn, why is prostitution illegal if they getting paid? You know, if sex is forced labor because you didn't receive anything from it, you got to make it make sense. So she
just like
says,
porn. Porn. Hell, if it was illegal, it wouldn't be sold.
right.
But they say, well, it's a twist. It's a twist in everything. Like they say, okay, just say
Now here it
Illinois,
goes.
17.
It's a the federal prosecutor admitted that they had no direct evidence to support the charges they brought against against him, aka R. Kelly. This is what the woman said. This is why they kept asking questions yesterday. That lady judge kept asking her, what proof do you have? She couldn't present it. Then 3, Azrael had sex with R. Kelly for the first time in Florida, according to her testimony. Not California, as claimed by the feds, which the mama said never happened. Her mother facilitated the date, and Azrael drove herself to his hotel. The feds are twisting the truth because the judge told the federal prosecutor that Azrael did not deserve restitution because being exposed to herpes is not a crime in the state where the incident occurred, which was not in California. However, the federal prosecutor lied and falsely stated that she was in California. And we all saw that lie.
So who now, Eva? Let me ask you a question. Who is this from?
This is a malicious conspiracy.
Oh, okay.
This page has been following for a long time, putting out a lot of the information as far as the case go. Now she say number 4, Jennifer Bunjean had less time than the government to present her argument. Well, Jennifer Bunjean reserved 3 minutes of her time for rebuttal. And even though the judge was interjecting in her speech, initially she reserved 3 minutes of her 10 minutes to have rebuttal. But they gave the government, they did their whole 10 minutes straight through. But then when the judges started asking them questions, it went on and on and on and on. So it says the government misled the court and twisted what was stated during the trial. A witness never mentioned picking up underage girls, right? Instead, he said he picked up a woman around his age when he was 19. Demetrius Smith never acted on R. Kelly's behalf and clearly stated there during the trial that R. Kelly had no knowledge of him bribing anyone. Correct? We can all agree to that, right? Juice, who could have testified to verify Hallie's allegations, was not brought to the trial by the government. Exactly. Presumably because her testimony would contradict their case. They didn't want anybody who was going to blow their cover. Number 6, Jennifer Bunjean sounded stressed and as a result was unable to debunk each point presented. Well, they wasn't going to let her debunk each point anyway, because it wasn't about that. It was more so for the judges to get clarity to the charges that they was bringing, the government was bringing, and what Jennifer was challenging. Number 7, one male judge kept repeating a single point, wasted the whole time, and he seemed very biased, siding the government. Somewhat agree with that. The uncharged acts were not mentioned or brought up, which was a bit disappointing. Where it was in the written argument. It was in the written argument. The judges had no, and you heard the judges say, we have. Let me go to it right here because it came. I got it in my phone. What the judge told this lady.
We
Hold
have
on.
many issues or something like that.
Yeah, I'm finna show you right here. The judge said, let me find it. I gotta see what, because my people, man. There's people out here that love me, man. They be sending me shit. So the judge said we have many issues that need to be addressed. But at the time, they weren't able to get to those issues because when they asked the prosecutors a question, she started going on and on and on about nothing. So it said the
therefore
judge,
she couldn't answer them. That's
right
why.
here, we said the judge said it's a lot of issues here. There is no proof that the groupies did not give consent, and the staff would not know if they gave consent or not. The forced labor, sex, all this shit was shit that they questioned. The judge has stated that there are a lot of issues. So they wasn't able to address everything with a 30-minute setting. It said herpes was not properly defined, especially in the term of the law, and the government relied on an appealed law, right? Repealed law, and that was in California. They had done away with that law. So the thing is, a lot of the stuff we expecting is going to happen. We just got to be patient and allow it to happen. So,
Oh yeah. You
So
know, because
the judges have plenty of questions, but a lot of this stuff a lot of the stuff that we have questions about that we did not hear doesn't mean that Jennifer didn't put it in her written argument. And that's why I tell people to go over to a view from Tracy Point, because she's reading Jennifer Bunjean's written argument on her page. And in that written argument, she talks about the ineffective counsel. She talks about the jury selection. She talks about the bad act witnesses. She talks about the problem between Nicole Blank Becker representing having a relationship with Azrael and defending Mr. Kelly. She talks about all of those things.
that there man, she should have, you know, she lucky she don't get her ass sued. Cause that's like, you know, you straddling the fence, you got one leg on each side of the fence. So who you with? Like old Bernie Mac said, who you with?
Yeah, you know, and
Great.
what's crazy about it is, you know, people don't understand. Like I said, they had to ask those questions. I would have been a little bit more disturbed if they hadn't said any damn thing. They had to do it, you know. So, you know, anytime we get into that, and trust and believe me, I understand how, you know, I'm a supporter of R. Kelly myself. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the music, all that, and I understand. I get it. That you wanted to work the way that you wanted to work, but you have to realize this. A lot of times, the appellate court for the state will go with what the ruling of the judge was, and then you have to take it a step higher. If we know anything about the Supreme Court of the United States, they don't play about that Constitution. They don't play about it at all. We've just witnessed it.
No, they don't.
So, you know, we just witnessed it with the Colorado deal, you know, trying to take Trump off the ballot. We witnessed it. They don't play about that Constitution.
Now they abide by it, they live by it.
Right. So when it comes down to it, we need to let this thing take its course and stop getting upset, because it's going to be a process. They wanted this man bad. And trust me, they ain't trying to let him go. So that's where, you know, we come into play, bringing the facts. That's where Jennifer comes in, doing her thing, and we're gonna keep on plugging away. We got to keep on. And I'm talking about even after this man get released, we got to keep on plugging away. We can't never let this shit happen to nobody again.
No, not in this fashion.
Nobody. You know, and that's why you got your channel, I got my channel, and other people have theirs, because we can't let this shit happen again. I'm talking about to nobody. I don't give a damn if it's Donald Trump. I don't give a shit who it is. We're not going to let this shit happen no more. Because if it can happen to them, it can happen to us.
Exactly.
We don't have the money or finances, or we don't have the popularity that these type of people have.
Right.
We'll be lost in the goddamn system for 40 years and being released from prison after doing 40, 50 years in prison and finally getting found to be an innocent man.
Right.
Hey, nephew, I already be dead here. I already be dead, shit. I'm in my goddamn 60s now. Shit, I'll be gone. Oh, I'll be like a bunch of dust.
You see what I'm saying?
40 bars, I can't do a 40.
We got people every day in America who being released from prison because of shit like this that the government did, with the prosecutors in New York and Chicago did to Mr. Kelly. You got people who being released from prison every day for these same type of behavior, man. And guess what? They didn't have nobody out there protesting and speaking on their behalf. We didn't hear about their cases until they got released from prison.
Yeah, you know, look at a lot of them over there in Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, man. You know, dudes doing from 25 to 60 years, and they didn't have the resource. Yeah, some people tried to, you know, do their little protesting thing, but when you in a doggone segregated state, man, they don't. You can protest all you want. Those that's on the outside, they are with the ones on the inside, so they don't bother you because you protest, because hell, your protest don't mean to a hill of beans. They got what they want. It's just like with Kales. They see a lot that's wrong in this case, right? But what happened? If Kales, just say Kales don't go out there and put that damn sycamore or that hoe in his hand to break a ground now day for 5 years, right? No
Mhm.
matter where he was at, they still got free labor,
Labor.
and free labor is
Uh-huh.
money. It ain't see
Yeah.
people think labor is always work. No, Kale's work is laying in that goddamn bed.
Let me tell you something.
Uh-huh.
Let me tell
That
you something.
bed is for fuel,
Tell you something
and
about
taxpayers pay that money.
that private prison system. Let me tell you something about that.
Oh
Every,
yeah,
every individual that comes through the private prison system is worth $80,000 per year. That's how much the bed costs. If you think about that, think about how much you would pay. You pay senior assisted living for senior citizens to live from month to month. It's $8,000 for each one of them. So these are the same people that run those government funded prisons, run these senior living facilities, so on and so forth. And it's all about profit, all about money. And guess who paying for it? The taxpayer is paying for it.
exactly.
We
That's
pay.
why people say, oh, they gonna pay the man. I tell you, man, the government don't pay shit. Now, only time they gonna pay something, that's if they coming out of their damn 401ks and bank account. Okay, yeah. But anytime that a government, a state, or federal, whoever coming off of money, that's coming from taxpayers' money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not coming from them. It's coming from taxpayer money. That's why a lot of these cities and states breaks the law like they do, and they don't give a damn about. Oh well, they just paid out. Oh, he got laid off, but he getting paid. That's taxpayers money. It's just like up there in Angola, Louisiana. They got their own facility. People dying. Got inmates taking care of
Mhm.
them. They got guys out there in the
Working
fields,
for 'em. Everything is in
cattle.
house.
Yeah,
Everything in Angola is in house.
yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And look
You
how
know,
much money they dragging in.
and
And
I'll
they
be
get
honest.
they get food stamps, welfare, and all type of shit from the government.
And what's crazy is, like I said, the Department of Justice, regardless to where you put somebody as far as a prison is concerned, those prisons are owned by people. That's the reason why it was so easy for somebody to infiltrate and access R. Kelly's jail records because it's not government monitored. These people are doing their thing just because, and they
Private,
literally,
yeah.
yeah, they literally had to, somebody had to be watching Tasha K. If somebody had to been watching her, who would have known about Officer A? Who would have known?
Yeah.
If somebody who with a conscience hadn't been watching that,
Yeah,
somebody
a
who,
whistleblower, somebody that
Getting
worked in the
frustrated with
prison,
this.
somebody worked in the jail
with an
told
actual conscience.
somebody that worked in the jail went and told the warden that they saw the lady
Good.
doing
Something
it.
burn that.
Somebody with a conscience, and I'm just, that's, I know within my heart, man, we got redeemable people that's going to do the right thing. That's what that made me feel good right there. I'm like, at least somebody's doing the right thing.
Yeah, because
Somebody.
that lady could have turned a blind eye and not said nothing. And we would have never even known about the BOP officer. Like you say, but that lady, she went and reported it. The Bureau of Prison did their part, but the government chose to protect this woman because they knew what she had done could have freed R. Kelly right then and there.
Mhm.
But big vibe. But I gotta give Kel. They say Kels can't read this good and that and other. But hell, I get that dude credit.
Yeah, he
Shit, he put
learned.
two and two together. He put two and two together. But goddamn, hell, how in the hell ass know about this here? How in the hell ass know about that there? See,
Yeah,
shit, he didn't do no slipping. So when he put two and two together, say, well, hell, me and so and so talking about this. Me and my counsel talk about this. How in the hell do she know about this here? So it's time for me to get my ass to work. Let me talk to my counsel.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was disappointed yesterday when I heard the judge
What's your
and
name,
the
bro?
prosecutor was
What's your
explaining
name?
all that shit.
What's your
He was
name?
like, I'm not
Okay.
right now ain't the time for that, but he said, I'm sure I'm sure it's possible that what you're saying is true, but right now ain't the time to argue that. Like, how do you know what she's saying is true if she's sitting here lying about other shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. She act like she need her drink.
My goodness. My God.
Real as it get, hold on just a second, guy. The thing is, if they saying that this man tested positive for this STD in the late 90s, if they had oral sex in Florida, that's still exposure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all that Florida shit didn't happen.
Come on, man. They say the man tested positive. You got Faith Rogers' mama say she don't have genital, she have oral. She don't have the genital STD, she has the oral STD. So if Ash gave him oral in Florida, she would have the oral, right? That's still exposure.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing, she lied, man. You know the speaker lied yesterday because the judge asked, "Did she have a relationship before Kel?" And she said
Yeah.
no. Man,
Yeah,
the
the
girl
girl was
had a
already
boyfriend
sexually
already.
active. She was already sexually active before Mr. Kelly. And that's what they didn't want to admit to. All these women were already sexually active before they met R. Kelly. And you ain't finna tell
But
me if he having sex with all of these women as they proclaim, you got 3 women, 2 women, only 2 women being treated for this STD.
and nobody else.
Mm-hmm. I'm like,
And then nobody even brought up say, okay, well, what about where are there any medical records uh of
That's what the judge
the
said yesterday,
female?
Uncle Ray. The judge asked her, where do y'all have proof?
Yeah, exactly.
The judge asked her, where is the proof? They just said, well, he tested negative. Well, if he tested negative, where's the proof?
Or else, where's the females' medical records? Because you know females go and get checkups and shit. So
No,
where
you know
are the records?
they gave the medical records to Diane Copeland.
No, but you know, but what I'm saying, you know, like,
I
you
get
know,
what you
women
saying,
go
Uncle
get
Ray.
these,
I'm being
yeah, but
funny.
before, prior,
I'm
you know,
being
but
funny.
prior,
I'm
yeah.
being funny. I get what you saying. They could have easily brought in medical records showing that these girls had this STD, but still, you got to prove when they contracted it. Can
Yes,
you
my
prove it?
point.
Can you trace it down? Each
That,
and every one of us, this STD that they say Mr. Kelly have, this STD lies dormant in every human being walking.
yes, you know, because it flares up, you know, it don't just stick out like, you know, you got chicken pox. You know, it's herpes flare. You know, say like you tensed up and things like that, it'll flare. If you pretty much well calm and all that and stuff like that, it doesn't happen. It flares
She
up
say
at certain times.
real as it gets, say that's not genital. Well, they said the man tested positive in the late 90s for for both of the STDs. Whether it's genital or not, any type of sexual exposure when you are infected with an STD is
and you
exposure. Whether it's
and you're hitting
oral
raw.
or genital, regardless. Whether it's oral or genital, it's still is exposure. That means anytime you have unprotected sex with someone, that's exposure.
Exactly. When you're hitting it raw.
I mean, why are we arguing that? I'm not gonna even address that part anymore. Still, at this point, the lady said they had a sexual encounter in Florida. That should have been the first time. If this man was positive for this STD, the first time they had any type of sexual encounter would have been exposure. And then you go to Florida, and I'm not even finna argue this shit with California because you still have to make this make sense. She talking to her mama the whole time in California. Real as it
Hmm.
get. Now help me understand this. Real as it get. I want real as it get. I want real as it get to help me understand this. You better stop taking shit for granted That man just spent $20K or better on you. It ain't get no coochie. And then you not at his show. They say that's disrespectful, a slap in the face. Really? You better do something, crocodile tears. Real as it get. I want you to explain to me if when she was in California, the mama said she haven't gave the man no coochie. When did the sex happen? I need some help. Somebody help me. When did the sex happen? The mama said she hadn't gave him no coochie. Oh.
Well, if it ain't no touching, hell, it ain't no trafficking.
You see? But then you still got to ask yourself, and you also got to ask yourself this, right? Now, the mama said no. Now, she's saying ain't no sex happening in California. When you go through these text messages, Azrael tell her mama he hadn't even came to the hotel where she was at. She said she went to the studio and then she went back to the hotel and she was supposed to meet up with him, but he was on the bus headed to Las Vegas and she didn't get to see him. Per the text message. Now, the thing is with the government though, I just really want us, I need all of us, because all of us are here for the same reason. And I don't want nobody to think that I'm against anybody else, because if we all on the same thing, and that's justice and trying to understand this information that has been put out to us, we all can look at this thing. We're not going to see the same thing, but we can agree to some point, to a certain degree, that certain things that the government alleged took place just didn't happen the way that they said it happened. If it did happen. You just gotta make sure when they say shit like this. But then a while back I did a live a while back, and the guy talked about, you know, why they did what they did to Bill Cosby and Mr. Kelly in the way that they did it. Why they wanted to charge him in California. And also, real as it get, if her testimony at trial is evidence, then this sexual shit that she talked about happened in her transcript, then that means why wasn't Mr. Kelly charged in Florida? You agree, Mr. Ray? Derek?
I agree 100%.
Why wasn't he charged in Florida for the sexual encounter in Florida? If she was a minor, she was under the age, but no charges for Florida.
I mean, and let us not forget.
No charges for Florida. If testimony is evidence, and she testified that they had a sexual encounter in Florida, why wasn't he charged for the state of Florida? And Florida would have been easy to bring charges because the age of consent in Florida is 18. They say she was under the age.
Right.
As we know, man, Florida never happened. It didn't go down like that. The girl wrote an entire letter to her brother stating that this man was not even looking at her, did not even find her attractive. The moment that she went down, the parents started calling the tripping and trying to have business deal after business deal, and said, brother, I swear, I can't make this shit up. And you know, and then she claimed forced letter, you know, oh, he forced me to write that. But you know, come on, man. How do you go from forcing them to write confession that you're keeping your own file and a letter that actually made it to your brother?
They go to the letter right there. She said when she talking to her brother, talking about the mom and them trying to set up. And shout out to everybody that's in the chat. I'm not ignoring you all. I'm trying to get caught up with the chat messages. I thank each and every one of y'all for coming here. Our reason today for being here is to support in support of Miss Jean. I know a lot of people was bashing and they was kind of upset about how things went yesterday, but for Big Bout opinion, and I think others that's over here that rock with me and others, we are in support of Miss Jean. You know, regardless of how the little brief went yesterday, we still support Miss Jean. We still stand by Miss Jean. She's the expert at this shit. We just people on YouTube and supporters. You know, we can't go in no room and represent ourselves, and we'll never
That's
see
right.
we'll never see ourselves again.
Hey,
You know,
That's right.
we think she was stuttering and stammering over herself. Shit, we didn't even Judge, please.
man, go put, hey, bring the cuff, bring the bailiff, man. Go and take me. You know what I'm saying? Bring the bailiff. I'm ready to go.
You know, so when I look at things in reality. I listen to what people are actually saying, man. And she wrote a whole letter, and I'm like, come on now. You know, we're gonna disregard all that because we want to believe what we want to believe. That's why you got people that can see words coming out of Leah's mouth in videos,
Right,
and can say the opposite. Oh no, she was intimidated. She had moved on with her life and career and was dating Jay-Z and Damon Dash in that order.
right.
So how you still scared of him when you're surrounded by thugs?
Right.
It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. You surrounded by thugs now. You ain't come try me if you want to. But and then on top of all of that, the people that she was surrounded by ended up working with him. These are the narratives that are pushed.
Come on, man. Come on, bro.
You know, but at the same time, you know, we just have to realize, man, that, you know, because they brought that shit up yesterday. They can't do this without Aaliyah. They can't do this without conjuring up her name and invoking her spirit, you know, into this. So what we have to do when we, you know, I know we get to hearing all this stuff and we get to spazzing out because we hearing all the stuff that we don't want to hear. But when it comes to these arguments, man, we just got to be a little bit more on point. We got to be a little bit more on point with how we receive the information. Because if we just allow ourselves to be upset and not know how courtroom and the court system works, then we're going to be in a terrible situation because, like I said, it's called an oral argument. We saw, you know, people will try to run roughshod and try to walk in the courtroom and act like they own it. We saw that recently too. You know, but what we have to do is we have to just let the course be the course, and we're doing the commentary. We're bringing the facts where the mainstream media just brings the narrative and the sound bite and the talking point. So,
but it's sad how people, you know, because it's one thing we have to look at it. We already know how crooked the government are because they want to try to get all they can get. They just in for a win, right? But the thing is, if you have all this evidence, why do you have to play dirty pool? You don't have to play no dirty pool.
hey,
You know, just shoot straight from the lip.
That's what I said earlier, Brother Ray. That's what I said earlier. Yep. What up for Bout? I just arrived at work, man. So I can't get in like I want to, man. I'm about to punch in now.
Hey, no worries, sir. We got 8 o'clock tonight.
Right. I'm early because I don't report until 2 o'clock. But you know how we do, man. As black men, we got to get there early, assess, make sure everything good, and relax and flush yourself out and our mind and be prepared for the shift, man. So I'm gonna punch in, sign in, come back, and I have a little time to chat before I have to go actually in my spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God.
All right. Yeah. So stand back.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm in working. So I'm in my security booth. This lady walked by strapped. I'm talking about strapped. Lord have mercy.
I agree, Lady Irby.
Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I had a moment. My bad. Whew. Good Lord. I'm asking if she need a personal security guard. Anyway, because she need a bodyguard, guard that body. Good Lord. But anyway, like I said, man, you already know tonight we'll be on, man. We got some things we got to discuss anyhow, because like I said, I'm changing the narrative in a different type of way here, man. We gotta do this, man. It's crazy. Like I said, we're gonna, at the end of the day, the process is going to have to be the process when it comes to R. Kelly. Now, if the appellate court sees this and they decide, hey, there has been an injustice done, we need to go ahead and release this man right now, they will, but I don't know how it's going to work, what I'm saying, because you have to have like a 3-2 type of, it's 3 judges, so 3-2. It doesn't have to be unanimous. So we need like 2 of them to go, and then one of them can say no or whatever. He can still, he can still work out in his favor when they do their opinion. So all we have to do is just wait. We can't speculate. We can't hate on Jennifer. Jennifer's an excellent, dogged attorney, and we can't keep on flip-flopping on her, man.
Yeah, she hit hard as steel, that's for sure, and she done more in a month or two than the other crew did, man. And that's
to be picking up the pieces.
Yeah.
I'm at this point, I'm starting to not understand sometimes what a lot of these supporters expect. It's not like the movies. This ain't Perry Mason.
No.
This ain't Law and Order. This is real life.
That's what they think it is. SUV, Law and Order, SUV, whatever shit.
Yeah, this is real life. We ain't gonna turn around in the hour on the next episode and he be gone back home. It's not gonna work like that. It's certain things. We're actually learning all of this as we go.
Yeah,
how the process works.
And it's a process. We understand the process. The process, bro. It's a process. Nothing that you do comes without a process. Everything in life is a process.
Something. This
but
case.
Some people I can understand. Some people may not have a process. They may live reckless as fuck, and that's cool. But you keep your car over there in that lane with motherfuckers with no insurance and all that, while regular people over here want to understand, and we're gonna trust the process.
Absolutely, 100%, man. Because I like I said, if it don't come out in the wash, definitely gonna come out in the rinse. And I promise you, if the rinse don't get it, the spin gonna definitely get it. So it's some cycles. Right now we in the rinse and we trying to get this water up out. We trying to get the soap out, get the gunk out, get it all out. And if that don't work, we gonna take it to the Supreme Court and let them rinse the whole shit. Get all the water out, and then we, go ahead.
The simple fact that these judges said yesterday, there are lots of questions, there are lots of issues that we have with this case. Then that's enough. That shit right there, and what they say, you just need to have faith the size of a mustard seed.
Mm-hmm.
And that little statement right there is the mustard seed that we need.
And you know what, with that statement right there, that the judge made, that statement right there, that can come from all perspective involved in this case. That's from the so-called victims, why the judge allowed this and not that, what the prosecutors did wrong, what the DA, all them, how this case become about. Just that one word he said can revolve to everybody involved in that case. Because it's what? 1, 2, 3, 4 different people fighting against one. Judge, government, prosecutors, so-called victims fighting against one counselor. And all 4 of them did some jacked up shit.
I mean, but there's no such thing as a one-man RICO, and I would hope to God that this appellate court sees that. And if you see that, that negates everything else.
Mm-hmm.
There is nowhere in American history, nowhere. And then they were literally talking about legal precedents that they set in this case, talking about, well, there's precedents for this and precedents for that. It wasn't a precedence until y'all brought R. Kelly in.
Yeah, and there's no man ever been facing trial and Jennifer brought that up as well in her written argument. There has been no person ever had to face trial while there's a documentary running before he even go to trial or while he's on trial. And she stated about a case. She brought up case law from back, a case when a guy when a jury got a hold to a newspaper article that was about the guy that they was on the jury panel for. And jurors got a hold to that newspaper, and those jurors was the reason why he was his conviction was vacated, because it was found that those jurors had read that newspaper while the trial was going on.
It took for a case of that magnitude, man, it didn't take long at all to impanel a jury. Okay. YSL took months and more months before they started their trial. And it's still ongoing now, and it's been months and months since they impaneled that jury. There is no way, if you have a RICO conspiracy, that you can have a trial and you say, oh, it's going to last 6 weeks. No way. And this is what they did. This is the game that they played with the American people that don't know. Because half of America, half of America is about as ignorant as any ignorant person could possibly be. They go to work every day and they catch their little news clips and hear what people talking about at the water cooler, and they run with it. Never investigating the facts, never looking into things for themselves. These same idiots that go to church, listen to a pastor all for 2 hours, never crack open the Bible and read the scripture, never figure out and interpret the thing on their own. So this is the nature of what we're dealing with. So people like to be fed, and they don't like to cook for themselves. They just want to be fed. And if you can feed anything, garbage, gunk, you can feed them shit out the can. You can feed them anything. Like I
just
said,
put some flavor in the hair. It's good.
I'm telling you. So
what they trying to do right now, R. Kelly never pleaded. They found him guilty, but R. Kelly never pleaded guilty to none of this. Right now, I'm gonna tell you how now they gave this man 30 years plus 20 plus an additional year. If R. Kelly came right now to the government and said, I'll plead guilty to all of this if y'all allow me to get out of jail within the next year or two, do you think they'll give him a deal?
Hell no.
I bet they'll give him a deal, because
I think they will.
He'll have to wear this shit for the rest of his life.
There you go. But the thing is, too, it depends.
You know why I said that, Uncle Ray? Because what did they do to Bill Cosby? They went to Bill Cosby and told Bill Cosby, if you plead guilty, you can go home right now. Bill Cosby told them, I'll die here before I plead guilty. A few months down the road, Bill Cosby being set free by the Supreme Court. What if he would have pled guilty just to go home right then?
There you go, nephew.
But Big Vibe. It's not against the law for them to tell you a lie to get a conviction either.
I understand that. Well, we see that what they did. But they can't make you a deal and then come back and go against it.
It's a word for that.
Right.
It's a legal term. Right. It's a legal term for that. That is, they can get caught up on a line, but it's a legal term. You got to really prove that. It's a legal term, and I don't remember it, but yeah, I yield back.
They come. See, they came at Bill Cosby like that. Well, if you admit guilt to that you did this, you can go home. But Bill Cosby say, shit, I'm whatever age I am now, I sit in here till I die.
Mm-hmm.
6 months later, Bill Cosby being set free from prison. But what if he would have took that? He would have admitted guilty just to go home right then.
Yeah, he'd be labeled.
He had to be registered, all type of shit.
Well, let's just keep it all the way a bean, man. You can come back from that type of shit. Mike Tyson came back from that type of shit. We knew good and damn well that girl went up to his damn hotel room down here in Indianapolis, bogus, and when it didn't go her way, and she didn't get no payout that day, she made sure she got hers.
But you know something though, man? Like, we all know how, and it's mostly our people, man. We just have to call a spade a spade. Most of the people in this damn case is our own damn people. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Now, my thing is, say like Bill Cosby or whoever, they get from behind them damn bars, everything's over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They should make it to where these people cannot come back and fuck with them no more. No more.
That's why you gotta be. They say you have to be. Your case needed to be dismissed with prejudice. However it goes is with prejudice, meaning they can't come back and retry you again. But if they dismiss your case with prejudice, that means it's possible that they can come back with the same shit.
But my thing too is also, if some bitch goddamn been lying, you got immunity and shit, because immunity ain't nothing but a bunch of damn liars and thieves
a bunch of criminals, man.
With criminal records, mug shots. So how the hell can you bleed these people when they done lied before? When you got a damn man sitting behind bars, they never had a goddamn speeding ticket, no less than a jaywalking ticket.
And that's how they get a lot of people though locked up. They get a lot of people in these interrogation rooms, and they threaten them with all this time and make them plead guilty to a lesser charge. They innocent, but they pled guilty to a lesser charge just so they can go ahead and do their time and go home.
You know what, man? It takes a person. It takes a person or persons to have been behind bars and know how the system work and things like that. To know where, hell, I don't give a damn what you say. You can't bullshit me with this here. They gonna fight with the goddamn law. But anybody ain't never been behind bars before, them some of a damn near 99.99%. Yeah, okay. Straight up. But see, when you take somebody like Kales within himself and know, well, hey man, this is a bunch of bogus ass shit, right? So that's why what? He didn't take no plea.
Right.
See, anybody that's scared to be behind the bars with no balls, they gonna take a plea.
Right.
But anybody that's been behind the bars and been through the system several times before, they say, man, I'd sit up in this something, but y'all do what you want to do. Hell, and then they also know some of the law because they done been dealing with the law. But a greenhorn, he just fucked.
Man.
That's a good point that Regina had in the chat. They want this to become case law. And that's how they establish them case laws, in scenarios like this. You know what I mean? So it's good for him not to plead out, stand on this innocent and let it ride, you know what I mean? Like Bill Cosby did and others. Yep.
Man, there's so many people that's behind them bars that have faith and confidence and knowing, say, well, I didn't do this. So, hell, they rather take the bullet. They take whatever the consequences, but they not doing what? They not taking no plea. Some people say, well, you're a damn fool. Well, I'm going to just be a damn fool because there's two things about it. Why would you lie on yourself?
Right.
I ain't gonna lie on my damn self.
Yeah.
The crazy shit is if R. Kelly had took a deal, he'd be at home right now. That's the crazy shit. He'd be at home right now.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Old Unc been through some shit. I damn now, and this is something I had spoken on Black CEO, a couple of them. Hey man, I done been through some shit, and it was pretty damn now not as deep, but similar to what Kale's situation. It ain't no joke, man. I'ma just keep it a buck with y'all. It's not a joke. It don't feel good when somebody wants you and you never gave them the blink of an eye of your time, and you done got in from your job, kick your damn shoes off, and the damn poop, 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 poop. Raymond, police here. What? For what? Well, who know? You get this bitch that goddamn talking about you did this and did that to her right next door now. You ain't never had no words with her. But scorn ass women would do shit that they don't give a damn what you go through. And it's real. I'm keeping it a buck. It's real. I went through it. I just didn't have to go through the full process, but I went through it.
So in January 2014, R. Kelly had a birthday party, and my mom and my sister went to this thing. Now, they waited in the basement right next to the chocolate factory for about a good 2 hours. And R. Kelly came strolling in. Right behind him was, and my mom said if she didn't see 100 females, she didn't see one. Every last one of them had overnight bags. Oh. Every single one of them. My mom told me that shit and I'll never forget it. And it's like, wait a minute. So, they trying to get chose out here. And when they don't get chose, I'm sure they get pissed because you go through a lot. You know what I'm saying? You didn't sit up here and probably borrowed your dress from your friend and got your fresh You're smelling good. You know what I'm saying? You done put a Noroform up that thing. You know what I'm saying? It's tasting good. You know what I'm saying? All type of stuff. And you like, I done did all this shit and I done wasted my time. Shit, hot as fish grease. He ain't even look at me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of vitriol and scorn in a lot of these women. Jerron the Pace man didn't get a second look. Man, you saw him literally run. If you could just break that picture down and just get the footage, I'm sure that he was damn near jogging away from that crazy ass girl. Jerron. I promise you. I mean, because you get to this point, you draw near to a celebrity. And then you want to holler victim. You want to hop this man's fences. You want to holler victim. You say some of the stupidest shit, and just because people hate this person, they believe that somebody is going to hold you hostage. And then all of a sudden one day say, you can go ahead and go down the street with your uncle, go get some shoes. She tell him I said, what's up? You got to be.
She don't look too bright, does she?
Man,
they don't look like she have two personalities.
She's so unsharp. She couldn't even spread butter.
Man, that girl look like she'll flip in a second, and she would lie, and hell, she would cut you. She look dangerous.
Absolutely, man. I mean,
she looks like she need to be on some medication, man. Seriously,
crazy eyes. She literally got the crazy eyes, man. You know them when you see them.
Man, remind me of some of them damn wild horses I used to deal with.
And it ain't like it traumatized her so much, or whatever the heck she say happened, and she started disliking sex because the babies kept rolling. The babies was rolling through on her. So obviously, whatever happened, it didn't turn her off.
Yeah, man. The way she just looked like she's way off in another zone, and I don't know what Kale seen in her, man. Shit.
I'm gonna talk to Love Light real quick. Go ahead and put her if you can, Big Bad, put her up there, and because she's on point with this one. The government is on trial. If you at this particular point, if you notice what's been happening with the judicial system, just, because the thing about it is once you go to a certain point, they want to go higher. They want to go higher and higher and higher. Because if you can get to the top and you can start prosecuting people on the top, then, you know what I'm saying? Just recently, I think that overseas, a president done got indicted. They indicting presidents all over the world now. Because of the injustices that happen on the surface level, just here in America with R. Kelly, and people trying to climb and advance their careers by prosecuting celebrities, politicians, and all of that. And they always use at some point during this some type of sexual assault allegation. At some point, some female rolled out and said, "Oh shit, I was in the McDonald's and he yanked me in the bathroom and finger banged me." Are you kidding me? And the thing about it is that, with what R. Kelly, the pattern of behavior thing just bothers the shit out of me. It's the biggest lie. It's the biggest lie ever told. Because a pattern of behavior is shit. Every day you get up and you go you go to the basketball court, then you go to the studio and you stay there all night, and then you go to sleep. You wake up, do the same shit. Not every 5 years I'm looking for somebody underage peering. Oh, today I feel like I'm gonna go up to the high school. Are you kidding me? It makes no sense. Man.
It's crazy.
It makes no sense. But like I said, we living in this world of sound bites. We living in this world of take my words and create your own damn meaning. And we're going to do that by forgetting everything you said and concentrating on one word, one phrase, one thing. And you notice that it was happening to R. Kelly. When you say 18, how old you're talking? Cut. Totally out of context. But if you had to finish the statement, I got some 18-year-old friends and some 19-year-old friends. You expect for this man to alienate millions of people in his fan base so you can prove a fucking point. That's not going to happen. I understand, you have to understand the plays because they always taking words and twisting them. When Bill Cosby sat up here and went through his thing and they asked R. Kelly for a comment, and he made a comment saying, I believe that he's innocent. You know why? Because it happened to me. They took that and they ran with it. And the next thing you know, they was on R. Kelly's ass. And I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. I'm like, because we had already, the rumblings had already started. In 2014 and 15, they was trying to figure out who the hell they was going to get. That's why when you see the Huffington Post interview with R. Kelly and you see this and he handled himself in such a way that I wish that he could have handled himself with everybody. But I understand what happens when things hit you and they're so overwhelming and you don't do not this shit again. I know he's, oh my God, not this again. I've been dealing with this my damn near over half my life, and I've done nothing wrong to anybody. And how does that make an individual feel? You said what? Yeah, and then the thing of it is, you can't trust anyone at that point. So it becomes, a situation where, and like I said, when you get to dealing with these demonic forces, man, inside of human beings.
Give me a second. Give me a second, dear. Shout out to everybody. Welcome everybody that's coming in the chat. Thank y'all for coming. I do see you all over there. I had to step away for a second, but I'm back. I want to say shout out to everybody that's coming. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the share button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Go and follow my boy Provoke Thoughts over on YouTube as well, who also streaming the live right now as we speak. Channel donations by Cash App and Big Val Opinion or Super Chat, Super Thanks. Any information that you all have that y'all think could benefit the discussion, email it to me at bigvalopinion88@gmail.com. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that share button. Like and share. If you in support of Jennifer, like we are in support of Jennifer, make sure y'all hit that like, make sure y'all hit that share button. All right, Derek, go ahead.
Yeah, so
I'm out of here, you all. I'll be listening on my headphones, but I got to step out the vehicle and go into my work location. Blessings to everybody on the panel, everybody in the chat. Love y'all. Love your nephew. I'll holler at y'all soon.
All right, take care, boy.
So love life.
All love.
Definitely, we are dealing with a spiritual warfare. Definitely, you can see where the government is actually being held accountable on all fronts. You know, now as they raise the bar higher and try to get up higher with these bullcrap charges, you can see that everybody's starting to see the injustices that's happening. You know, so he was talking about coming to my channel. I call it all out, man, for everybody. I don't give a damn who don't like it. F your feelings. Because at this particular point, we can't call for justice for R. Kelly and deny the justice everywhere. It's all around us. The injustices that have happened to all people. And, you know, when it comes down to it, man, it's all connected. It's all connected. This is an agenda that's happening. This is they movement over there. It was the Me Too movement. That was a movement. It was in the name. So now we got to start up our own movement. You know, we got.
You know, and it's sad that the government be involved. You know, they just did all this stuff, man. But it's so much injustice been done. It's just a disgrace to the United States. It just honestly, man, because how much they have done and how much they done paid out to do what they did just for one person.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. It's just like they don't care who see the corruption. Sad. I mean, it's sick, sad, super pitiful.
I mean, and right up in your face. It's, you know, will lie in your face. I mean, it's almost to the point where we should be offended at this point. You know, because we all ain't stupid. You know, the only reason why we're sitting up here having this conversation is because we think beyond the surface.
Mm-hmm.
We scratch a little, we dig a little bit deeper. We peel a piece of that onion back a little bit further than the average individuals. So you get those people that, and you can tell who hasn't done their research. You can literally tell because what they will do is they will parrot the media. I'm not a parrot. We cannot parrot the media. We have to literally listen and do our own research and find the truth because it's obvious they're not going to tell it to us. It's obvious.
Shout out Truth Be Told.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Matter of fact, we have to do the research on our own. If we don't, we are destined to be in this vicious cycle. You know, because a lot of people, you know, came on, you know, with, you know, supporting this because of what they saw in the media. You know, so that is pretty much where they are. You know, okay.
You see old shaky lady, she was constantly telling more lies on top of lies. She was just, that woman yesterday, man, she was despicable.
Yeah.
Going here, going there, and she didn't know if she was playing chess or checkers or dominoes or what. But damn near everything came out her mouth was a lie.
Yeah, she was parroting what was in what the beliefs of people instead of the facts of the case.
If my brother Sir Miguel out there, Carl, I need you to come on the panel quickly if you're listening, brother Sir Miguel. I have a question that you can help us understand. Shout out to my brother Lex. Shout out to the brother J Rock also in the building, man.
Absolutely, 100%.
Man, what's going on, Big Vi? What's going on, Big Vi? Derek, Ray, Lex, what up?
What's up? What's going on, y'all?
Oh man, that's nothing much, man. I just got the question, man. Why do these people keep trying us, bro? Why they keep trying us? Because all you're trying to do is trying to continue to try to sew in a narrative, like the old saying is, you trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. You know it don't fit. And then on top of that, really, if you look at the whole scenario as a whole, what have we been saying? Well, one of the things I've always been saying is the fact that, you know, the truth is out there if you're willing to look for it. And unfortunately, a lot of people have not been trying to look deep enough. And, you know, Spitfire always mentioned the fact that, you know, look beyond the surface level, which is one of the things that we all like. I think Derek just said it. We go beyond it anyway. You know, but what really caught my attention was when they tried to keep reasserting the RICO charges. That's why, and a couple of other times that I brought up, when I brought up what happened when R. Kelly was on tour. Why, in that instance, why would you not bring up that as part of the RICO against him? Plus, when he was on tour, there was no mention about any underage girls when he was on tour, when he had an incident when he was on tour in Louisiana. There was no mention of any young girls out there either.
But what about?
Go ahead, Vi.
How could these people work together as an organization when hardly none of these people worked at the same time?
Well, you know, like, I guess the best way to put it is almost like trying to put together a movie. You get a lot of actors that never really work together, don't really know each other. But what's the one thing that always has to happen for a movie to be successful? Everybody has to follow the damn script.
Right.
Now how would that script? What the script is depends on the director, the producer, everybody that put it together.
Even the first name they said, Demetrius Smith. We all heard Demetrius Smith testify and say Robert had no knowledge of the shit that he did.
And you want to know why I know for a fact that actually that part is true? Because when R. Kelly came off a tour, went back to Chicago for what he was already dealing with, he had a separate legal issue he was already dealing with at that time to meet with his lawyer about.
Yeah, I was in the meeting.
Because he had to go right back down to court in Louisiana to address that completely different legal issue. So of course, R. Kelly wouldn't have had no knowledge of the bribery and what they was doing, because he already had his attention diverted somewhere else. That's why he would have never known. But Demetrius, allegedly Barry, and a few other people behind the scenes had all that other stuff already mapped out. And he would and Rob would have never been the wiser.
I want people to hear, but I want people to hear what the enablers testified, what the employees testified to, versus what the government attested that they said yesterday. I want people to hear this. This is why I keep playing this. I keep playing this because I want people to hear what these people actually said versus what the government want us to believe they said. Just say.
But you know, with everything going on, man, a lot of people have been trying to continue to Oh, okay. Oh, you got the video up. Okay. Go ahead, Vi.
I'm gonna be listening. I got a customer. I'll catch y'all in a bit.
One, Demetrius Smith. Demetrius Smith, friend and personal assistant for the defendant with 1984 to 1994. Smith met defendant as a teenager when he was still attending high school and singing in subways in the mid 1980s. Smith was first a friend and mentor to the defendant, and then began working as his personal assistant when defendant received his first record deal in 1988 or 1989. Smith worked off and on for defendant as a personal assistant until around 1994. Smith's responsibilities included assisting the defendant in things he needed and with scheduling. Smith testified that defendant met Aaliyah through his manager, Barry Hankerson, who was Aaliyah's uncle. Smith testified that from his perspective, their relationship was strictly about music and that he never saw defendant take Aaliyah out by herself. Smith did concede there were short periods of time when defendant might be alone with Aaliyah. There were times when he thought defendant and Aaliyah were overly playful or too friendly, and he asked defendant if he was messing with Aaliyah, to which defendant always responded no. Smith raised those concerns a few times, but only learned that the relationship was more than platonic in 1994. Number two, Anthony Navarro. Anthony Navarro worked as a sound engineer in defendant's studio for 2.5 years. Navarro understood it was entry-level position and would include such duties as cleaning, doing food runs, and driving guests around. Navarro testified that numerous people came through the studio, including different girlfriends of the defendant. One of his responsibilities was to drive the girlfriends where they needed to go. He was instructed not to speak with defendant's guests. Navarro explained that defendant's guests were generally required to ask permission if they wanted things or wanted to order food, and they were not permitted to wander the studio or defendant's home unaccompanied. Sometimes these guests would stay at the studio for an extended period of time, but could leave if they wanted to. Navarro did not know the details of why any female guests visited. Oops, click too many times. Let's get back up here. Okay. Navarro never picked up female guests who appeared to be underage. They appeared to be around his age, in their early 20s. Navarro had never seen defendant engaging in sexual activity in his home or in his studio. Navarro went on tour with the defendant and observed that invites would be distributed to attendees for after parties. Sometimes defendant's phone number would be on the invites. At times, he would see defendant's phone number distributed to people at the mall or at a restaurant. Navarro never saw underage girls backstage. Navarro recalled that identifications were checked before people could go backstage, but he could not recall whether people had to be 18 or 21. 3.
Now, why the government didn't talk about that? Navarro said, as he recalled, he said identifications was checked. And if he could recall, he couldn't remember if you had to be 18 or 21, which 18 is still an adult. The government said that the workers were the one who provided this information to them, but Jennifer is telling you what these people testified to in court.
distributed to attendees for after parties. Sometimes defendant's phone number would be on the invites. At times, he would see defendant's phone number distributed to people at the mall or at a restaurant. Navarro never saw underage girls backstage. Navarro recalled that identifications were checked before people could go backstage, but he could not recall whether people had to be 18 or 21. 3. Tom Arnold, runner studio manager from 1998 to 2011. Oh, let me go back up because I don't think I read. Anthony Navarro was a runner and sound engineer from 2007 to 2009. Okay, so Tom Arnold, runner studio manager from 1998 to 2011. Tom Arnold worked for defendant from 1998 to 2011. He started as a runner and eventually became his studio manager and road manager. One of Arnold's responsibilities working for a defendant was to provide transportation to his guests, which could include men with whom defendant played basketball, a musician, and his female guests. If defendant wanted Arnold to transport a guest somewhere, defendant would tell him directly, or someone with defendant would make the request. Arnold testified that the protocol for driving guests from one location to another was to open the door for them, turn the rearview mirror up, and then turn the radio on to a
Now, what did he say yesterday? That the worker said that R. Kelly, when R. Kelly in the car, he made one of the girls give him oral sex and wanted her to be loud enough so the driver could hear. Do you hear the prosecutor representative say that yesterday? The government representative say that yesterday?
That was the craziest shit I've ever heard. And we all know it's BS for the simple fact, if you can't really get an interview from this man, because he does an interview all the time, and he tries to keep his business close to the vest. Why would all of a sudden he want to be real loud about his own sexual escapade?
Then he make the women wear jogging pants and baggy clothes when they're around his people. When people are visiting the studio, he had his girlfriend dressed in baggy clothes so they don't show off their body. But you're gonna have your girlfriend give you oral sex in the car and loud while the guy's driving. Come on, man. I mean, this shit the government contend to, man, this shit's crazy that they say, but this is what Jennifer put in her written argument for this appeal. So for a lot of people saying she didn't talk about this, she didn't talk about that, she actually talked about a lot of shit.
Request. Arnold testified that the protocol for driving guests from one location to another was to open the door for them, turn the rearview mirror up, and then turn the radio on to a reasonable volume. Arnold understood that turning the rearview mirror up was to avoid eye contact with defendant's female guests and to ensure their privacy. Guests at the studio were required to sign confidentiality agreements that prohibited guests from recording or taking photographs. Staff would either take Polaroid photos of guests or copy their identification.
Now, this is important to hear. This is what people had to do when they came to visit.
For their privacy. Guests at the studio were required to sign confidentiality agreements that prohibited guests from recording or taking photographs. Staff would either take Polaroid photos of guests or copy their identification to confirm the identity of the person signing the confidentiality agreement. Okay, the policy of having studio guests sign confidentiality agreements originated with defendant's business manager and lawyer. Arnold generally had no interactions with defendant's female guests. If a guest in the studio was hungry, they would call the front desk and Arnold would arrange to get them food with petty cash that was at the reception area. If a guest wanted to move from one location to the studio to another, Arnold would get permission to escort the guest. If a guest wanted to speak with the defendant, Arnold would relay the message to the defendant. Arnold explained that generally guests would not be able to roam the defendant's studio and home freely, but would ask for permission to go from one part of the studio to another. Arnold testified that there were instances when he would provide defendant's phone number to a woman, not normally in a concert setting, but an after party or at a club or possibly at the mall. There were also other members of the entourage who would give women defendant's phone number. Underage people were not permitted backstage, and identifications were checked to ensure that Arnold did not testify that he provided defendant's phone number to any woman underage. Arnold testified that he sometimes arranged travel for defendant's female guests until they began using a professional travel company. Arnold would obtain the guest's identification to arrange their travel. Arnold did not testify that he ever booked travel for an underage female guest. 4. Suzette and Alisiette, Alesiett, Alizette Mayweather, personal assistant in 2016. Suzette and Alice, child, this spelling just don't even make no sense to me. What did we say this was? Is it Alizette? Suzette and Alizette? I don't know. Worked as personal assistants for the defendant. Suzette worked for the defendant between October 2015 and February 2017. And then I'm going to call her Azette, worked for the defendant between late 2015 to June 2016. Their job responsibilities were to tend to anything he needed: running errands, grocery shopping, taking care of laundry, arranging accommodations for guests, female and male, coming into town, and booking airfare. Suzette and her sister testified that defendant had several live-in girlfriends during this period of time. They testified that defendant was controlling of his girlfriends, expected them to follow certain rules, dress down in baggy clothes, and suspected he slapped or spanked them previously. On a couple of occasions, the sisters expressed concern amongst themselves about defendant's mistreatment of Azriel. The sisters denied that they took any action at any time to assist defendant in procuring girls or women. Number 5, Diana Copeland, personal assistant, executive assistant, intermittently from 2005 to 2018. Copeland began working for the defendant in 2004 or 2005 as a personal assistant and worked off and on for the defendant until 2018. Her responsibilities were largely household in the beginning, tending to housekeepers and nannies and making sure they were paid. Later on, Copeland would do administrative jobs like answering phones, maintaining defendant's schedule, and tending to defendant's guests, which could be anyone from a record label executive to a personal guest. Copeland would make hotel and travel arrangements for the defendant, his entourage, and his girlfriends. Copeland would sometimes carry defendant's backpack, but she never went through it. She did see an iPad in one of the backpacks.
Now, how you say she would carry the defendant backpack, but she never went through it? But she did see an iPad in one of the backpacks. Come on, man. You gotta make it. Boy, these people is crazy, man.
Yeah. Ava, I'm about to go ahead and dip on out my lunch break about but that point right there alone was already crazy. You got the backpack, you didn't go through it, but there was an iPad in the backpack. So how would you know it was a backpack if you didn't look through it?
Man, look, man.
Answering phones, maintaining defendants.
Jennifer made this shit known, man. And then she bust them out. She talked about when the iPads and shit came out. During the time that these people were the legends, some of this shit happened. iPads wasn't even, iPhone, iPads and shit wasn't even out.
See, that's some same people that went back to the future to try to get hypnotic.
Right.
And hanging out. So hanging out, getting hypnotic in iPads in different damn years before everybody else.
Right. Sprinter van before Sprinter vans even was out.
Right. But I'm gonna dip on out by my lunch break about that.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming through.
All right, you gonna be on live later on? You gonna jump on Derek?
I'm gonna jump on Derek.
Okay. All right. So what time is he gonna be on? It's gonna be like what?
I'm not sure. Probably gonna be around about 7 or 8. He normally go on there.
Okay. I'll be on the lookout now.
All right.
All right.
Schedule and tending to defendant's guests, which could be anyone from a record label executive to a personal guest. Copeland would make hotel and travel arrangements for the defendant, his entourage, and his girlfriends. Copeland would sometimes carry defendant's backpack, but she never went through it. She did see an iPad in one of the backpacks once. During her last stint of employment with the defendant, one of Copeland's responsibilities was to help him get control of his finances. Defendant had difficulties reading and writing. He had no control over his bank accounts, did not even know his social security number, and did not know where his royalties were going. Defendant instituted rules for guests on his property, namely to knock before entering a room and not to roam around the property unsupervised. These rules applied to anyone, everyone, and were actually initiated by his wife with a security number and did not know where his royalties were going. Defendant instituted rules for guests on his property, namely to knock before entering a room and not to roam around the property unsupervised. These rules applied to anyone, everyone, and were actually initiated by his wife. Defendant instituted rules for guests on his property, namely to knock before entering a room and not to roam around the property unsupervised. These rules applied to anyone, everyone, and were actually initiated by his wife when she lived on the property. Copeland acknowledged that defendant's girlfriends also followed defendant's rules to wear baggy clothing and not to interact with other men in public. Defendant had girlfriends who stayed at his properties, sometimes for extended periods of time. Some girlfriends lived in defendant's home while others did not. They were free to leave if they wanted to. Copeland never attempted to stop any. They were free to leave if they wanted to. Copeland never attempted to stop any of defendant's girlfriends from leaving his property. Defendant never asked. They were free to leave if they wanted to. Copeland never attempted to stop any of defendant's girlfriends from leaving his property. Defendant never asked Copeland to recruit women for him, nor did she ever hear him ask any other employee to recruit women for him. Copeland never saw defendant attempt to prevent any woman from leaving his home. She never saw defendant lock any of his girlfriends in a room, and he never asked for her to confine any of his girlfriends. Defendant's girlfriends had constant access to food and assistance to help them with anything they wanted. 6. Nicholas Williams. I don't remember Nicholas. Williams worked for, and he was an intern and runner in 2003. Nicholas Williams worked for the defendant for a year in 2003 when he was 19 years old. He described the environment as hostile work environment and was disappointed that was not able to use, I think she meant that he was not able to use the audio equipment. I think I do kind of remember him. Is he one of the people that sued for the back wages or something? Or was that the Navarro guy? Anyway, different types of people visited defendant at the studio, ranging from professional artists, musicians, actors with whom he was doing projects, personal trainer, some of his entourage, and female guests. Williams noticed that defendant's female guests at the studio were young. Williams was instructed not to interact with the female guests. 7. Cheryl Mike, executive assistant from 2014 to 2015. And for those of you who don't know, Cheryl Mike is the mother of London on the Tracks, who is a music producer. So Mac, M-A-C-K. I know y'all get mad. Y'all say I be saying Mike like M-I-K-E, but it's my southern drawl, okay? So anyway, she met defendant in 2005 when she was working as a talent manager in the industry. She reconnected with defendant in 2013 through another record executive and began working as defendant's executive assistant in 2014. She managed defendant's calendar and worked on projects with him. She also arranged travel for his guests and entourage. Cheryl would arrange travel as requested by the defendant and use the company credit card to book necessary reservations. She used a company known as Preferred Travel to make most reservations. She was prohibited from socializing with defendant's guests. Cheryl received a text message from Azriel in April 2015 asking her to book travel arrangements to California for Azriel, which she did. She later met Jane or Azriel in the lobby of the Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas, where she was checking into her hotel room. She also saw Azriel in Kelly's dressing room at a venue in Connecticut where he was performing. She was there with several other individuals, but eventually she left when Kelly began massaging Azriel's leg because it made her feel uncomfortable. She said she quit the following day. Yeah.
So, what Jennifer was explaining yesterday, how could you say that these people were, how could you say that it was a common purpose when you got Cheryl Mack testifying that when she saw whatever take place with Mr. Kelly and Jane Doe number 5, that Cheryl Mack said she quit the next day. If she quit the next day, how is that a common purpose? What up with it, Lex? And for anybody that's for the moderators that's still here, can y'all go and get the links to Provoke Thoughts channel, the links to A View from Tracy Point channel, Malicious Conspiracy, or whatever channels y'all feel are good channels that has positive information, not that unwavering information. But make sure y'all can put links in the chat for me.
What's going on, brother? Ain't nothing, man. Just doing a little honeymoon at the job, man. Kicking back, watching some of this good old information y'all putting out there, man. That's pretty much it. One thing I realized about this whole situation on yesterday about the briefer and everything, some people got to realize that she's not going to be able to go in there with a key and unlock the cage for him and get him out of there. It's going to take time. And also, when I looked at everything again yesterday, those judges had to ask questions to get an understanding of what's really going on, because as you can see, or we all saw in the other trial with Ann Donnelly and Leavenweather, those questions wasn't really asked like they're doing now. They're going to take it a step above than what they did in those trials. So we just got to be patient, because you can see how the government got tripped up on their own stuff. I mean, if you really got somebody that did the rights and you bringing in information and they ask you about the information, there's no way that your representation should be coming in there tripping and skipping and falling down and fumbling when Jean went in there and she handled her business. She got out what she needed to get out. She had a strategy, but the government strategy was we're going to stick to the lies and the things that we use to try to get a conviction and listen to everybody else. We're going to just rely on them. Well, now you can't rely on what you came in there with. You got to really prove what you said that happened. It ain't about what you know, it's what you can prove. So I feel like Kale's going to have a win pretty soon. It's just a matter of time, because the government didn't have nothing in the beginning. And a lot of the information they got, they relied off other people. They will never do their own work. They always got to rely on somebody else. And that's what we got to realize. Some people don't realize that only time the government really just gets somebody, or when they do get somebody, it's because they rely on somebody else. You got all these different informers to help you with your case. Yeah, you got to have somebody to help you with your case. And outside of that, I don't see the government ever winning nothing on their own. They got to have somebody they trust. So people just got to realize that it's gonna take time, but hills will prevail. So everybody just be patient on that. That's all. That's pretty much it on
Appreciate
me,
it.
man.
Appreciate it, brothers. And that's all I'm asking the people is to be patient, trust the process. The judge did drop that mustard seed that we need. When that judge said, you know, there are lots of issues, you know, with the case. The judge did see that. They did look at the case enough. They did look at the written arguments enough to see that there are a lot of issues within the case. So we just have to allow the legal system to do what the legal system do. And even if they don't do right, we still have another level of courts that we can go to. We just got to be patient and allow the trial to take its place. We just have to be patient and allow the trial to take place. We can't do things that God hasn't allowed to happen. We got to allow God to move things when it's time for these things to move. You know, and that's all. That's it. That's all we can do. And with that being said, it's your boy Big Bout Opinion. It's been my time today. Hopefully, my live brought some insight for people to look at and for people to understand. Don't be so hard on Miss Jean. Her law firm is her law firm. They work. The lady has produced results. It takes time. We can't cast our feelings and emotion onto Jennifer Jean because of things don't go the way that we feel they should go. So let's continue to have patience. Let's continue to pray. And if your faith and what your belief is, then you don't need to be supporting nobody. You don't need to be supporting nobody. If your faith and your belief don't run side by side, then you don't need to be supporting nobody. But I believe and I have faith that Jennifer Green is fighting for Mr. Kelly. And I'm gonna stand behind that. You know, for the people that attacked the lady and said she fumbled and all this, you know what I'm saying? If y'all was a better attorney than she is, then y'all probably would be representing Mr. Kelly. My brother Lex, I'm about to get ready to get up out of here. For everybody in the chat, I appreciate y'all. Like I say, y'all like to support me. Y'all know how to do so. It's by a Big Val opinion. You know, on Cash App, support this channel. Super thanks, super chat. Any information, make sure you email me at bigvalopinion88. Brother Lex, I'm about to get ready to get up out of here. To everybody in the chat, y'all stay the course. Stay the course. May the good man win, man. You know,
Right. Yeah, man. And also, man, I want to just give yourself a pat on the back, man. Like I said, and like I always say, keep doing what you're doing because we need more like you out there. But I feel like the man upstairs appointed so many people to try to carry the weight, to put the information out there. So, like I said, give yourself a round of applause, man. I'll give you flowers and everything because you deserve it. You well deserve it. So,
appreciate
that
it,
being
brother.
said, man, peace and love to your family and everybody in the chat.
Already, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And if y'all haven't already did so, man, make sure y'all like, make sure y'all share. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, man. Turn on that post notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time that your boy Big Vibe going live. And with that being said, free chaos till we see chaos. With Jennifer, I stand. With Jennifer, I fall. Point blank period. Ain't no wavering over here.
Right
And
on.
that's it. And I'm out.
All right, I'll holler.